Looking for fascinating conversations with industry thought leaders? Want to get the inside scoop from local legends? Interested in the stories behind the stories from celebrated visionaries? This is your home for the best our university has to offer. Welcome to We Are IU. Hello, I'm Jeremy Gray, Senior Associate Athletic Director here at Indiana University, and welcome to We Are IU. Today, we're going to talk all things about our new character, Hoosier the Bison. Joining us right now from IU's marketing department for the athletic department, Mark Skirvin, who is an Associate Athletic Director, and we have really the coach of Hoosier the Bison, Will Kirby, joining us here, and we're really excited to talk about this new addition to the game day experience at not only Memorial Stadium, but all 24 sports at Indiana University. And Mark, you go way back with IU. Your family is really deeply embedded in the history and tradition of IU athletics. What made adding a mascot appealing to someone like you who maybe is so deeply rooted in tradition?
I honestly think it was the one thing that was kind of missing from our great traditions that we've had through the years. You know, we've had candy stripe pants for years. We've got all these championship moments that we've had with different teams, but the mascot was always one of those things that, for whatever reason, just never seemed to ever take. And so when that process began for us a couple of years ago, really, in earnest, it just felt right. It felt like, okay, this is actually going to happen this time. So, yeah, it's been overdue, and I'm glad, obviously, that it's come to fruition.
Mascots don't just appear. There is a process. Take us through some of the steps that were necessary in order to bring Hoosier the Bison to fruition.
The process really began for us in November of 2023. That's when I think Scott Dolson, our athletic director, came to us and said, I think the time is now to try and make this happen. So we started talking to people who knew something about mascots. And one of the persons that we probably should mention today, a guy named Adam Day, who was a former staff member of ours and was a former student athletic board director when he was a student here. We reached out to Adam and said, you know this world, because he actually had left school and worked in Minnesota with the Vikings and the Timberwolves as part of their mascot teams. And we said, you know, what companies make costumes? And so he identified a company called Alinco, which is based out of Salt Lake City. We made a call to them, and within a couple of months, we had our first meeting, and we started talking through that process. And Alinco is one of these companies that has made the majority of the NBA mascots that you see out there. They've made some NFL teams. And they have a notable client by the name of Walt Disney, or Disney Corporation, as one of their clients as well. So they make all the theme park costumes for them. So they know what they're doing. And so we just started that process. And, you know, we thought about things that I don't think we ever dreamt that we would be worrying about. We had fur samples. We had an artist that created the design for this. And our original design is pretty close to what Hoosier ended up being. It's slightly different, but we knew, you know, from past mascots that we had, we wanted something that looked traditional, that fit within the Big Ten, because there's so many traditional mascots out there. In fact, I think Bucky from Wisconsin just celebrated 85 years last week, actually. So they've been around for decades, and so we wanted to try and create something that would sort of fit within that overall brand that you think of when you think of the Big Ten institutions. But we also wanted something that didn't do what the original mascot did, which was it had no mobility whatsoever. So that was high on our list. It was sort of a traditional look, but we wanted something that if we wanted to do somersaults in the costume, we could do it. And truthfully, one of the first questions we asked of Alinco was, hey, if we hypothetically jump out of a plane with the mascot suit on, will the costume survive and make it to the ground, and the parachute guy, you know, make it down safely? And the answer was yes, that oh yeah, we've had costumes that have done that before. So we felt good again that we identified the right company and we're working through that process. But the overall process itself probably lasted 18 months in total by the time from start to finish. We would get high-res photos of it out in Salt Lake as they were building it. We'd have to go back and change some fur colors. We'd think, oh, we'd have it right, but then we didn't. But it, again, just an incredibly fun experience to go through that. I would also say that we took inspiration from things we had seen on social media. People sort of grassroots had created their own Bison characters. So we saw things in some of those images that we liked. We loved the Nick's Bison on some level. We loved his red sweater, and we knew that that was something we wanted for Hoosier to have as one of his outfits. So yeah, it was unbelievable to go through that whole thing.
I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about the before. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions about the after. You are the handler for Hoosier the Bison, and you're following Hoosier around wherever he goes, public appearances and the games themselves. I've been able to do a little bit of that with you. What has the reaction been of various age groups and people and IU fans to Hoosier the Bison when they actually encounter it in the wild?
Seeing the fans, and especially young children and kids and all of that has been great. We go to the other sporting events like men's soccer, women's soccer, volleyball, and we just get all these kids who come up and run to us and want to take pictures and everything like that. So it's been like really great to see that, because we wanted something to come to IU that was not only going to add to the game day experience, but also create a relationship with a younger audience. I think that's something we've been missing out on for a long time. And I think Hoosier the Bison is great for that. So seeing, kids and fans run up and want to take pictures, and it just ultimately get caught up at B-Town Boulevard or wherever else. And, we went to Kirkwood to shoot the Rocky videos, and just seeing the public, want to be a part of it has been great.
So I don't think I'm revealing a state secret. I think people realize that Hoosier's not actually a real bison walking around in that suit, that there are human beings that do occupy the suit. We're not going to say names. This will be the last we'll ever discuss of it. But they didn't just magically appear ready to be a mascot. What was the preparation to make it an effective mascot?
Yeah, so something we were dealing with was we wanted to keep it a secret. So we had to kind of pick and choose from different student organizations on campus, IU Dance Marathon, Hoosier Hype Crew, former cheerleaders, and all of that. So we weren't able to have the full tryout process, which ultimately was a little difficult for us, but honestly really fun. Meeting a lot of students that, wanted to be a part of something bigger than just themselves. So when we had found these students, we had talked to them, got their interest, and then ultimately when, we got the team together, we knew, we had to go to mascot camp over the summer up in Wisconsin and just start having these brainstorming sessions. It's like, all right, like let's start developing the character. Who is Hoosier the Bison, and all these things. And then after that, it's getting the team into the suit for the first times and just seeing, all right, like where are we kind of starting? What do we need to work on, and everything like that. And over the last just few months or so, it's been really, really great to see the development with these students who have gotten into suit and gotten better and found a love for mascotting and kind of, developing their own little unique personalities within the character. So as we practice and as we go to different events and everything like that, we are just trying to develop and the program and who the character is and really establish that Hoosier's here to stay.
Mark, as part of the research that Adam was able to do on behalf of the department and that you dug through as you went through the process of creating the mascot, the Cubs with Clark had kind of indicated that half the fans will like it, half the fans will dislike it. You just have to give it time and weather the storm. This has been a little different. It feels like 90% like it, 10% still have to be won over. How have you been able to execute maybe a higher approval rating out of the gate for this mascot than other mascot programs have been able to do?
I think back to some of our counterparts in the league. They've got costumes that are obviously been around and very traditional and a lot of love for them, but they're limited because those costumes are sort of ancient in terms of how they were developed and created. Whereas ours is very modern. It's very new. It has things in it that allow our performers to breathe, so to speak, inside the costume. And again, I mean, think about the debut. We sweated to no end over the details of that, but jumping him out of a plane, what a way to introduce your character. I mean, there's no better way to do it. I don't know that we could have come up with something that would have exceeded that. But we also felt pretty confident that he was going to be okay because we had practiced it in the summer. We felt good about it, and we've got partners that we work with on a regular basis with football and basketball and games and other events that we do. You know, I'm talking special effects and pyrotechnics and things that we knew we could add to the mix. The bike sort of came late to us, but we were excited to get it. We knew it was in the works, and so our sponsorship group sealed that deal literally maybe a week and a half before the first game. So we knew we were going to have a e-bike for him to tool around on the field with, and we knew we could add sparks to it through our special effects team. And again, just all these different things just help us, I think, build a great debut and put us on solid ground moving forward. And I guess the last thing I would say, I think from day one, all of us that were involved, we want this thing to be out there 50 years from now, long after we've all left athletics and gotten away from it. You know, we want this thing to be as strong as it is today.
Will, you mentioned that the Bison is a character. What are the attributes of this character? Who is Hoosier the Bison?
Yeah, so Hoosier is as a student at IU. So he is, interacting with other students on campus. We knew coming in that, with the team that we have, some of them not having, great mascot experience before, we wanted to establish something that was simple, but yet could connect with the fan base. And I think choosing that character as a student and someone who the fans can relate to is something that we could see success with. So overall, Hoosier, he's kind of that big man on campus type attitude. He's got that swagger, but also he respects the tradition of Indiana University. He loves the university. He's been wanting to come here for a very long time, and he respects the tradition. So something we have talked about along the way is that we don't ever want to take the spotlight from the other Spirit squads and whatever else, the team and everything that goes on game days. We want to help elevate that. And I think just the persona that Hoosier has just as a person of the university is someone that, like I said, respects tradition, but he's here to stay. He knows that. And yeah, he's got that swagger, and he's got some good looking facial hair.
And he does have the student thing. He rides in on an e-bike. He fist bounds fans. He's active on Instagram. He's a college student. So as somebody who's in charge of marketing for the athletic department, I think people, when they think of mascots, think of something fun in the corner or takes pictures with kids or has a kids club. But there are other ways in which it impacts the fan experience and actually carries a lot of water from a marketing perspective for the athletic department. What else does Hoosier do for IU sports marketing?
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of game day atmosphere, just simple things. So you've sort of seen it already in the first 4 football games here this fall. The thought of having a character that can go out at midfield and lead a chant with the fans that literally encompasses all fans in the stands. And we've tried plenty of cheers over the years to add to game day atmospheres. Rarely do we find something that would encompass everybody. It's usually a group of students or whatever. But again, the way that he's been able to embrace everybody and get everybody active like that's one great example, I think, of what he brings to the table. But I think he's able to connect not only with the fans, but one of the surprises, I think, was seeing the surprise with our athletes. Like the teams themselves got into it. They got excited when we would show the mascot off to them.
Yeah, you saw the swimmers giving their championship rings to them. The volleyball players super excited to see them. I mean, it's had a multiplier effect that way. Last questions for Coach Kirby here. There might be some 17-year-olds who are thinking about coming to IU, want to be a mascot, or maybe some bulldozer parents out there who think that their kid would be the perfect mascot. I traveled with you to go film one of the video series, and they were in the suit for about 6 hours. And underneath the car seat in my car were 15 bottles of water that he had to drink to be able to get through the day. It's really difficult to be a mascot. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, so like you said, it's hard, and I think just the effects the suit has on a person's body really shows over the course of a game day. I mean, we couldn't do this if we only had one person. I won't say how many we have, but we have a great team that is really committed to doing their part, and everyone has just been like so great so far. But you look at Boomer and Rowdy of the Indianapolis Indians, like they are just amazing in how they are able to do that for so long, but they've also done it for such a long time. They know what their body can take, and they know what they need to do to prepare for games and things like that. But it takes a lot of stamina to be able to do what these guys are doing, and especially these past couple of games have been 80, 90 degree heat. So when you're out there in suit, it's like 100 degrees when you're out there on the field. So it's a lot.
Well, you guys really did nail the presentation, the development, and the execution of the release of this mascot. I look across the Big Ten, and you've got Purdue Pete with that terrifying vacant stare. You've got Brutus Buckeye, who's basically a nut in a rugby shirt. You've got the world's weakest lion at Penn State with a scarf on. You guys absolutely nailed the execution. Thanks so much for joining us on We Are IU.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, we got a couple of students here with us. Take a seat. Let's go. We're talking about you today. All you. 25 minutes of you today. All right, so excited to have both of you with us. Of course, needs no introduction. We've got Hoosier the Bison with us, hanging with us. He can't talk, but he can emote, and he's going to be there with us every step of the way. And we've got the president, true authority, and you're going to end up being like the Abraham Lincoln of SAB presidents, Francisco Caceres, who is really excited to talk about the student response to Hoosier the Bison. You're a student leader. How exciting has it been to have Hoosier with us this fall at Memorial Stadium?
Yes, it's been honestly incredible. It's nothing like I've ever seen before. My mom went here, so I've always been like, I was born a Hoosier. She always instilled that in me. So having to hear like, oh, these mascots failed when like I was little, and then now like you get to see the actual thing has been incredible. And the response of the students, like you said, has just been so great. I was honestly surprised by like how well people responded to it. But I mean, when he is introduced skydiving out of a plane, it's kind of hard to not get pretty excited about it. So it's been so cool. And of course, the success of honestly all of our sports teams, not just football, has been so key to that too, because everyone's already excited, and then you have this lovable character here as well. It's so great.
I've always viewed the game day experience as a restaurant. And while Kurt Signetti is the chef making the great food is not enough. You have to have great wait staff and nice ambiance and atmosphere and location and all of that kind of stuff. What has Hoosier added to that game day experience? Even though the food and the ingredients are tremendous, just a great football program, but what has he added to the experience game in and game out?
Yeah, I would say it's honestly almost like a manager of a restaurant, right? He's going to the different tables, he's talking to people, he's making sure they're enjoying it, kind of elevating that experience, because we've always had great wait staff. We have great folks in game day management. Our marketing staff's tremendous, and they always have been. But now we have kind of this mascot to take us to the next level and make sure that everyone's like truly getting the most out of this incredible game day experience that we have.
Giving Rec Sports a little shout out. My kid takes tennis lessons at the Rec Sports Tennis Center here, and I go on a walk on campus while he's doing that, so I don't have to drive back and forth. And as I walk through campus, I see students wearing Hoosier the Bison shirts of a wide variety. How good has the merch been for you guys?
It's honestly been really good. We got some new shirts yesterday that have been so exciting. It's just also nice to always like spice things up, because growing up, like we always like, oh, what's a Hoosier? And now we kind of have like a physical representation of Hoosier the Bison to kind of add to that next level. That's not just like cream and crimson. We also have this brown bison that we can wear around too. So that merch has honestly been really cool.
This does not happen without student advocacy and involvement. Maybe speak to that a little bit, what the students did to get this across the finish line.
Yeah, of course. So it was the spring of my sophomore year, so 2024, that we kind of started to get involved in this process. We met as a director board, and we kind of talked about, okay, We want to bring back the Bison. We want this to be a mascot. What do we want him to look like? We had a lot of long conversations, especially last year, about, what was his name going to be? What are some of the things that we can name him? How are we going to get students involved? We worked really closely with marketing to talk about how we wanted him to be introduced to everyone, that social media plan that ended up being very, very exciting for everyone. And we ended up writing a proposal for President Witten, and we submitted it to her office to kind of get that ball rolling officially from the student side to show like, hey, this isn't just like an IU athletics marketing thing. The students really, really want this. And obviously at a university like Indiana, students are always at the forefront of whatever we're doing. And now we're here with Hoosier.
And a little bit about some of your fellow student leaders. IUSF has incorporated some Bison imagery in the Little 500, bike race. The student government passed a resolution. The Board of Aons have met about this. This seems to be a broad-based level of support about the students to add a 43,001 student right here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also been super cool because, again, it's like the whole campus is kind of coming together to make this new mascot. So we had that proposal by Cooper Tinsley, like you highlighted in one of those social media videos that was rolling out this summer. We had IUSF has had Ryder for a few years, and now they can add Hoosier in to help with those extra festivities at the Little 500 and all of that. So it's been really cool to see how much all these different players on campus have been working together in scenarios that we normally don't. A lot of times we can get pretty siloed in our responsibilities. Like us, we're athletics. IUSF, they have students helping students in Little 5, but now we're kind of all working together to make this mascot as much of a success as it has been.
Well, now we have the official Hoosier the Bison edition of We Are IU. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of We Are IU, your home for fascinating conversations with thought leaders, legends, and visionaries from the university we know and love. New episodes available monthly at myiu.org.